Everybody. I'm Vladimir from Supermicro, field application engineer, and today I will present it a little bit Supermicro. I will talk a little bit about company and what is new in the hardware market. Supermicro, founded in 1993, we went publicly in 2007, and in Nasdaq, SMCI is our code. And I can tell a little bit about revenue. It's constantly growing. Right now, last year we finished up something like 2 billion of revenue all over the world. Three major facilities. It's San Jose, that's HQ. We have offices and warehouse and production in Netherlands, located in Den Bosch, and there is also technology park in Taiwan. A little bit about BV Office. This is important for us, and I believe for our customers also, because last year we moved to a new facility and we exceeded our production capacity something like 4 times. Also, we exceeded our warehouse capacity for at least 4 times. So now we can keep a very large local stock, so delivery time will be much shortened. They're also opening offices all over the world. Right now, we are present in around 100 countries. And Supermicro evolution, founded in '93, we are basically motherboard designers and manufacturer. So all the knowledge is in the house. Later, we moved on to designing power supplies to facilitate our needs in the servers, also the chassis part. And practically that trend lasted for 10 years. From 2003, we started to produce complete server solution. And another 9 to 10 years, when we get more experience, we moved to data center solution and innovation. The biggest tipping point was in 2003 when we announced 1U server with 2 nodes inside, 2 physical servers in 1U. It was really big revolution back then. And it was our biggest sales hit since then. Since then, we only start to add another layer. I will go a little bit more about that later on. Okay. And we really have a very huge portfolio. It's even a problem for us as an employee to follow everything. But we try to segment everything in the couple of families. The twin architecture, that means 1U, 2-node servers, 2U, 4-node servers, and 4U, 8-node servers. Twin family. Ultra architecture is also very popular, is the latest one. We were able to standardize a complete portfolio of servers that's around something like 30 servers on one motherboard. Because it's much easier for us to design one motherboard. We only exchange razors, special razors on the card to give different options and features on the server. Wide input-output, you can install in 1U server 3 add-on cards. Some companies or some projects have needs for that. Data optimized solution is very nice because we also apply special design of the motherboards. It's called side-by-side cooling, where we put 2 CPUs by side, and the quality of design and manufacturing is a little bit better, but that kind of servers can work up to 47 degrees inlet temperature. It's optimized for open air cooling. Mainstream server, that's the standard. Also, we are popular in GPU Xeon Phi optimized solutions. Right now, we have solution where we can install 4 GPU cards. We are talking K80, K1 grid cards, 4 cards in 1U server. The new generation that support Pascal, it should be out in a couple of months. You will have 5 cards in 1U server. The density is very important to us. Ultra low latency servers and workstation. Ultra is very interesting series. We sell a lot of these to Wall Street. The Wall Street approach to the vendors and said, okay, we want a server that can work 100% of CPU utilization. Can you do it? We will say it, okay, we will try. We did it. But we additionally, why we win is because we utilize CPUs in those servers to 103%. And that 3% wins us a lot of deals. We can do it because we are designers and manufacturers of the motherboard, of the BIOS, of everything. And we can run servers more than they are fabrically specified. UP server, that's a single CPU server, pretty standard storage, 4-way, 8-way system, where we can install 4 CPUs and 8 CPUs in the one server, and a pretty much broad portfolio of storage solutions. We are very popular in USA, especially for software-defined storage. Later, I will go in more details. IoT and embedded, we are slowly moving also in that direction, and micro cloud is density, where you can house 14 servers, single CPU, dual CPU in 3U. We are talking physical servers only. And next category is SuperBlade. That's pretty much standard blade solution, but also microblade. The difference between micro cloud and microblade is blade has switches inside. And technology trends in data centers as we see it. Shorter life cycle of the equipment. The data centers tend to change servers a little bit faster than in previous years. Also, the big trend is active data centers. If you have redundancy or backup location or everything, that means doubling the capacity of your data center. Hyper-converged infrastructure, big hype around the world for last many years, but practically virtualize everything. You don't care what is the hardware underneath. Software layer is important, and you want to standardize on software. Higher demand for faster network. Colleague from Mellanox did a very nice story about that, but more speed. It's always the trend. And NVMe, that I will talk a little bit about that, because we think it's very, very important. Spindle drives are going to pension. As we call it internally, spindle rust. NVMe, non-volatile memory host controller, it's practically SSD drives with the flash memory, but the difference is in the interconnect because it talks directly to CPU, and that is the biggest benefit. It is NVMe disk is connected directly to PCI Express lane, which is connected to CPU. All flash, 3 form factors, M.2, it's the newest one, small sticks. Intention is to replace the M-SATA, practically for installing operating system on them. Add-on card, that's the oldest one, form factor, pretty much standard. You have add-on card, you place it in the server, but the limitation is the number of add-on cards. The maximum number that we can house is around 11 cards in our server. That's maximum. And that is why U.2 NVMe form factor is invented, and right now it's around 86% of installation in our servers. It's small 2.5-inch hard drives with the NVMe interface. Qualify vendors, almost all players are here, more are coming, so momentum is starting to, the NVMe is starting to get momentum. And how we did it? SATA connector, practically old story, data, power on the left side. Later on, when SAS was announced, you get the dual ports, so you get a redundancy on the port level, signal port A, signal port B, power connector. But the trick we used with the NVMe is we make the hybrid ports. So in our servers, you will find hybrid ports that you can install inside SAS, SATA, or NVMe drive. So you don't lock yourself to the old technology. And practically PCI Express lanes are colored in yellow. Okay. Categories of servers that we are installing right now that we are supporting hybrid port NVMe is from Ultra, Vio, DCO, TwinPro, almost all families of servers starting to have NVMe support. Especially in super storage, where we have 48 NVMe drives in 2U form factor. Okay, all flash summary. The 3 most famous model from us is 1U, 10 NVMe drives, dual CPU, up to 1.5 terabytes of memory, high performance storage where you can install 24 NVMe drives in one storage, and the biggest one, as I heard the nickname is Katyusha, you can house 48 NVMe, everything is hot swappable. By design, in the back, you can remove the server in the rack, it's on rails, and simply access the back hard drives. The number of IOPSs and performances, it's really, really huge. But like I said, the most famous model is 1U, and we sell this a lot. Usually people are using them as a caching for software-defined storage, 2 nodes in the cluster, and later on they're accessing the JBODs where they store the data. And capacity, 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 give us more, give us more, give us more. They're always asking. So we usually fulfill wishes of our customer. We are very popular, like I said, in the USA for software-defined storages, also around the world. The newest portfolio of the servers is filled with 2U, 16 hard drives we can house, 12 in the front, and 4 in the middle practically, also hot swappable. 48 NVMe or SAS or SATA drives in the standard server, also supporting 24 in 2U form factor with the 3.5-inch hard drives. Also, the newest one, the newest members of the family are the 60 hard drives, server, not the JBOD, this is server, and also 90 bay hard drives, server. This can be extended with the JBOD chassis, all these chassis having also JBOD family, so you can have a lot of capacity in one rack space. Okay. And a little bit more technical details. We left on the 2U, you have rear hard drives for the operating system, so the storage is completely at your disposal. It supports hardware aid. It's LSI 3108 chip, fully supporting 5 or 6, 50 or 60 RAID levels, and dual port 10G lens. Similar story is 60 bay, also rear hard drives for operating system, and 60 hard drives for the storage area, and 90 bay is the same story, only added more hard drives. Simple double was the motto from our CEO when he said it to the engineers, simple double everything, and they practically did it, the famous Katyusha. 2U, 24 hard drives, same form factor, supporting SAS or SATA drives. 2U, 48 hard drives, same thing, supporting SAS or SATA. Okay, thank you. And NVMe drives. Fully flash solution with a lot of, we are talking about millions of IOPSs inside the chassis. What we see as a limitation, for instance, in this kind of solutions and the project that we worked recently, right now we have 100 gigabit Ethernet. We have millions of IOPSs in hard drives. Memory with the new Broadwell series is not a let's just say a limitation, because we can install a lot of terabytes of memory in the servers. The biggest limitation factor is the core count, because you need a lot of cores inside to run application. And more cores, more power. Our portfolio of the 4-way servers, we are talking about Intel E5, E7 series. The colleague from the Intel was talking a little bit more about that. But new update from the series is about 1 month. For 1 month, we will have new series supporting more memory and more cores. We will then support 128 gigabyte modules, 3DX point technology. We're expecting that if we follow the trend in previous years, 64 and 32 gigabyte modules will be practically the same price. For 2 models of 32, you can buy one of 64. We will see that. But premium performance, we can have 96 DIMMs. Right now, that's about 12 terabytes of memory in one server, up to 4 CPUs. New CPUs will have 24 core. We are talking about 96 physical cores in one server. It's a lot. Ultra series, 48 DIMMs, little less, but 2U form factor, it can have up to 6 terabytes of memory, and high performance in form of rack or workstation, you can have up to 4 terabytes of memory. Depending also the type of the CPU, is it E7, 88 series, or E7, 46 or 48 series. Usually what we see the customers are doing with such a service, they running in-memory database. They practically move database in the memory and run it there. It is faster. Couple of weeks ago, the customer in Netherlands was starting to experiment with even interesting solution. They are running software-defined storage in memory. They said we need storage, we need fast, NVMe is too slow. So we will see what will happen, but it's a promising project. And okay, this is the newest one, officially announced on CeBIT. This is the one server. It's oh, it was officially announced to you. Yes.
Na CeBIT-cie nie został oficjalnie ogłoszony. Był dostępny tylko i wyłącznie dla wybranych partnerów pod NDA. Więc tak naprawdę dopiero teraz te serwery są oficjalnie ujawnione. Is it available on your website?
Not yet. No.
I o to właśnie chodzi.
But it will be from July 1st.
Nie słychać, nie? Teraz mnie słychać? Teraz mnie słychać. Więc tak naprawdę jesteście Państwo świadkami premiery czegoś, co nie jest oficjalnie widoczne na świecie. Między innymi to jest też powód, dla którego chcieliśmy te spotkanie zorganizować, bo wiele rzeczy, o których mówił Intel, czy mówi teraz Supermicro, to są rzeczy niedostępne w ogóle w ramach informacji dostępnej publicznie.
Thank you. And it's a server with 8 CPUs. That is the latest trends in the, let's just say, big data centers when they need more power, more cores, more everything. This one, this is practically we use blade chassis, and on every node, on every rail, you have one CPU with its own memory. On a side, you have two local storages for the server. This one with the latest memory, 3DX point, can go up to 24 terabytes of memory in one server. And we are talking about 192 physical cores with the biggest CPU in the portfolio.
And on the CeBIT, it was announced that this server can handle only 12 terabytes of memory.
That was 64 DIMMs. It is in the presentation because technology wasn't available yet.
So,
but with the new Broadwell E7 V4.
Yes. What I'm talking about is that this is this is very, 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 very new hardware. This is the premier first launch, something like that.
It is. Also, the benefit of this server and technology that we are planning to use, that was announced to us, is hot swappable PCI Express slot. So you can hot swap PCI Express cards that are in server. That's new technology that will be, from now on, pretty popular. And it is a huge server. Where we see it, in-memory database, RP, CRM, BI system, research companies, and virtualization. Here you can virtualize a lot, really, really a lot of machines. So it's very interesting. Okay, more servers, even more power. And what we did it? Density. We pack more servers in the small houses. The famous one, 1U Twin, that was the first one, really, really big breakthrough, especially in the HPC market when they need more cores, more memory per rack, huge hit. The only downfall of this solution was power supplies because it was one power supply because of the size. The new generation, we call it One U Twin Pro, we have redundant power supply. There are practically two power supply sticks, as we call it, but it's a new generation, and everything's practically doubled from the previous generation. From 8 DIMMs, now you can have 16 DIMMs, and it's a fully operational server for any appliance that I can possibly remember, from virtualization, from application, from software-defined anything. And it's also interesting to the customer because you have additional card. You can install a low-profile additional card. Is it Ethernet? Is it SAS? HBA? You can install, but we're also offering zero slot. That's proprietary Supermicro PCI Express connector, where you can also add additional network. Is it 10G, InfiniBand? It's up to you to install. But usually, as we see it, this is very popular in software-defined storage. 2 nodes in cluster, high availability, connected to the JBOD. And small footprint. Successor of that is 2U Twin, where we practically connected to 2 servers, housing in the same chassis, but the benefit is you have 2 redundant power supplies. The new generation, this is also exclusive for you, it's called 2U Twin Pro. Everything is more, everything is new, supporting newer CPUs, but, like I said it, SIOM, flexible network selection, is more interesting because the previous generation, you only had it 1 PCI Express slot. With this generation of the servers, we did one small trick. It's called Supermicro IO input-output module, and that's a special module that you practically install into PCI Express slot, and we right now have models with 2, 4 10G ports, 1G ports. In the future, we are planning InfiniBand, 40G, even there are plans for hybrid ports. Depending on demand, it can be developed for you specially, whatever you need. But this solution also left a space in the server, so we can now house not only 1, but we can house 2 additional low-profile PCI Express cards. And plus, when you add SIOM modules, for instance, for network appliances, you can have up to 12 1G, 10G ports inside half-U server. Very, very, very great density of the add-on cards and expandability. And of course, FAT Twin product line, this is the biggest one. We simply we connected 2U Twin Pros, and we call it FAT Twin. We have models that can house up to 8 servers, 4 servers, or even 2 servers, depending on the needs. We also have optimized servers for Hadoop. This solution, you have 12 hard drives in the 1U form factor. Everything is redundant power supplies, but still, this is physical servers. If you're thinking about density, this is the way to go. The interesting one, the solution we have is also GPU FAT Twin. We have solution when you can have up to 3 GPU grid, K80, K1, K2, whatever card you're planning to use, or Xeon 5, up to 1 server. So density of GPUs per rack is greatest here. And microcloud lineup, the biggest density right now that we have is microcloud, where you can have 8 modules in the 3U form factor. This module is supporting 3.5-inch hard drives, and you have modules of the servers. We are supporting almost everything, from Xeon D, from E3, single socket to dual socket E5 CPUs. So very, very interesting solution. Every server also has an option to install a low-profile PCI Express card for expansion. And we see a lot of customers combining. For instance, they use order network, or in some cases, they use the SAS HBAs with the external ports to connect JBOD to extend capacity of the hard drives. And this is where we practically are present. We are very, very popular with the software-defined network, especially because we don't do vendor locking. We are selling servers. It's open, practically platform. We are recommending customers what to use, the hard drives, the memory, the cards that we are tested. But if you want to use something else, nobody's stopping you. There is no locking inside the BIOS or anything. And we are very friendly with the Linux. And most of our solution is also certified. There is on HCL list for Microsoft. And on our website, we also did a lot of in-house testing for the Microsoft solution for storage spaces in the storage area especially. And regarding success stories, I will say only once because I think it's very relative. SoftLayer is one of our biggest customer. SoftLayer is a cloud provider, service provider, but interestingly enough, a couple of years ago, IBM bought them. And they are continuing buying the Supermicro server. I think that's a very nice testimony to our quality and everything about Supermicro. Questions? Okay, great. I'm here, so if you want to know anything more about products Supermicro, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.